Hey everyone, hopefully you all had a good Christmas. So, back into Bigfoot and GIS mapping. I just wanted to have a look at in and around Tacoma and Seattle. Just in these areas, I was looking at the sightings. So we've got sightings in the red crosses, and we have the U.S. counties, and we got the world imagery on. And we're using ArcGIS Pro to view this, and you can get this software for $100 a year if you're interested in it. But you can also download this information from the bfro.net website and load it into Google Earth if you want to, if you so choose. But I was looking at some of the spatial patterns in and around these urban areas. Here's Seattle, Tacoma, Olympia. You can see, like on the fringe of these large cities, there's a fair number of sightings, which I find interesting. I guess you would get that if you have a larger population of people. You are going to get potential sightings and more potential interaction with Sasquatch or Bigfoot. But it's really neat to see this just on the edge of these urban areas. Does this mean that Sasquatch is coming in closer to the urban areas? So let's just turn on the USA Parks layer, which has national parks and forests and state parks and forests. And you can see obviously there's quite a few sightings within these areas. But between those areas and the cities, you have just a number, like quite a few sightings. It really interests me. So let's just pick some of these. Obviously, we have, if you've been watching before, we have the sightings labeled A's. Those are visual sightings, and B's are supporting evidence such as vocalizations, wood knocks, or footprints, or any other supporting evidence. So let's try and find a good sighting. Just on the fringe. Here's one here. So we've got a wooded area just on the edge of a subdivision. This one is 176th Street East, close to Orting in Pierce County. Let's flip to the BFRO website. We'll look up Pierce County. 83 sightings. That's a lot of sightings. And it was September 1998. September 1998. Boy observes Sasquatch on hillside near Orting. Location details. From the town of Orting, take the Orting to Powsin Highway. Take the first right after the bridge, follow it till the end. Recently, my 10-year-old grandson, Brandon, told me of a sighting he had when he was about 6 years old. My husband and I have been on one of the first episodes of Mysterious Encounters. My son and 10-year-old grandson had come over to watch the tape with us. Brandon had heard us talking about Bigfoot before, but never seen a picture of one. He did not know what they looked like. I put the tape in, and as it showed the first picture of Bigfoot, Brandon turned to me and said, "Grandma, I've seen one of those." Stunned, I paused the tape and asked him about it. He was living up in Orting, Washington, at the time beside a small creek which ran parallel to the Puyallup River. It ran along the base of the hill that the old soldiers' cemetery is on. It is a wooden area with lots of deciduous trees, some fir and brush. He said it happened when he was about 6 years old. He had crossed the creek and was starting to climb up the hill. He heard a noise and looked back to see it standing in the woods. He said at first it stunned him, but he also felt scared, so he ran down the hill, jumped across the creek, and looked back at it. It was looking back at him, but turned, walked up the hill, and disappeared into the woods. I interviewed Brandon on May 8, 2004. Here is his answers to my questions. Did you tell anyone? No, it was too freaky. Where did you see it? On the hillside behind my house. He walked through the clearing from left to right, then looked at me, turned and went up the hill and disappeared. Did it scare you? It stunned me, but I wasn't really scared. What did you think it was? I just thought it was someone in a suit. What time of year was it? It was still hot during the day, but cooler at night. Where were you? 20 feet up the hill till I saw it. Then I ran back down the hill and jumped across the creek. Then I looked back at it. It looked at me and then disappeared into the woods. What made you look up? It made a noise. What time of day? Evening. Starting to get dark, but still light. How long were its arms? Its arms came to about its knees. Way longer than people's. Interesting. Was it big and muscular or tall and skinny? It was big and muscular. How big was it? Oh, about as big as this house. We have 8 foot tall ceilings. When you jumped across the creek, how is it that you could see through the trees? There was a clearing you could see from across the creek. The woods were not grown up as much. Anyway, let's have a look at this location on Google Maps, see what we can find. Okay, so this is the location. We talked about the cemetery, and looks like a creek here. So let's have a look. I'm just going to look at Google Street View. Okay, so he said up this hill. Perhaps he lived in one of these houses here at the end of the street, and looks like potentially some nice houses here, but potentially that was the hill that it ran up, and looked like there was a water course back here, a stream. So there you go. As I said, you know, there's subdivisions, houses, and then they back onto wooded areas where potentially a Bigfoot could live, or you know, be moving through, and people would interact with these beings. Whether you believe a 6-year-old boy or not, I don't know. It's hard to, this one's a tough one. But anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please let me know and subscribe to the channel. Thanks a lot. Bye.